Happy Monday to everybody. It's the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Alec is here doing our YouTube video. Joining us now on the hotlines, Kevin Kernan from Ball9.com. He is our sports guru from all over the world and doing NBA today and MLB. We'll be talking about all that stuff. And he used to cover the Knicks and NBA basketball. And what did you think of the ending to the Pacers-Knicks series?
Thought it was a great series. I really loved the way the Pacers played basketball. Halliburton is a team guy. They wear you out. And Siakam, I mean, forget it. You know, the new thing to me in the NBA now is length and speed, and that's what they did. And we have finals with both those teams like that. So it should be a great finals. I'm excited about it. I thought the Knicks, they were too much. I'm just going to say, Karl Anthony Towns, he's got to get in shape. He was out of shape. And to me, he got ran off the floor. He could dominate if he can stay up with those guys, but they ran him off the floor. Brunson, the defense they played on Brunson was a la back when the day when I was covering Michael Jordan and the defense they were playing. Of course, I was with that Pacers-Knicks series way back when. It was a blast. I think it's. I didn't watch a lot of NBA during the season, but I'm really excited about the playoffs. I think the NBA is back. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the NBA is back. And of course, the other thing I love about the NBA is when you have Ernie, Shaq, and Barkley talking about it and things like that, and the Jets. So they got it from both ends because I think we're getting a little lost in the sauce now with baseball. Too much planning what the game is all about, and then let's cover the game. Let's go back to covering the game, and that's what I want to see more in baseball.
You're not going to be having any superstars in this, Kevin. There's no big markets. There's no LeBron. There's no Celtics. Are you okay with that? You still going to watch even though you don't have those elements?
I think I'm watching it more because there are no superstars, to be quite frank. Because these guys, I come from the generation where I love team sports and when teams played together to win. They played defense. Yeah, of course, I love my Bird Magic days. Those were special. But it was always the Parishes, the McHales, guys like that, even a Rambis, guys would do stuff. So I'm really okay with that. And I think we do have a superstar. SGA, he's a superstar to me. He's got the mid-range. It's so good to see them. Isn't it so good to see the mid-range jumper back? I mean, and the Knicks didn't know how to defend it. Halliburton towards the end was just coming down the lane and stopping, 12 feet, boom. So it's almost like baseball. It's so analytical, they forget about playing the game. So, yeah, I'm really okay with no superstars.
Is it fair for people to criticize Tom Thibodeau because his bench wasn't maybe as deep as the Pacers' bench?
Not fair. Thibodeau, I've known Tibbs forever. Those coaches, I think Mike Malone did a nice job on ESPN, talking about the games and things like that. And Tibbs, I thought Tibbs, tell me if I'm wrong, I thought he got more out of this team than was expected.
Oh,
to me,
absolutely.
that's a win.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a win.
Good point.
Very good point.
Yeah, that's coaching to me. And yeah, some of those guys stepped up. They were buried, but there's a reason why they were buried. And you could get and also the pace. The pace changed everything. The pace made them use more guys. And if they were a little better, because look at everybody the Pacers pulled off their bench kind of gave them a big jolt in the arm. Even the big guy Bradley, whatever, he hit some jumpers and it's a team game. It's so good to see the NBA play like that. So yeah. Thibodeau, that's media, just being media, and I was media forever, but I would never question what that guy did. I think he's one of the best coaches. First of all, to get any Knicks team to play defense at all is an accomplishment. And, because and I really think there's something to this celebrity row thing. I'm tired. Talk about superstar. I'm so glad we don't have celebrity row in the next round. I don't want to see any of those guys anymore. I know they love, the good actors, the this, the that, Ben Stiller. I got to tell you one story that puts it in perspective. Bob Costas. Did I ever tell you the Bob Costas, Billy Crystal story?
I don't think so, no.
Even if you did, tell it again.
Yeah, I don't think I did with you guys, and it kind of Bob Costas is still mad at me. But that's all I can say. And Bob's a nice guy, but he's best friends with Crystal. So I'm covering the Knicks. I work 80-some straight days. This is 99, and down underneath the bowels of there was so much media, they had to put us where they used to put the celebs. So I'm in there typing away at halftime, busting my butt, and Crystal comes in, and he's with his wife. Good for him. And she goes, "Hey," and he's standing right next to me. "Hey, who are these guys?" And he goes, "Oh, they're a bunch of A. This is with the A. Yeah. You know the word AHOLES." So I got up and said, "Why don't you make a good movie?" And there it didn't go
well. Kudos to you, man. That's great.
That's who I am. I mean, and when you and it wasn't just me. Every writer there was busting his butt. Just like Billy Crystal busts his butt to make a movie, you don't need to drop that on us. So I've been kind of anti-celebrity. Even though if you look at some of the video that just came out on the 2004 Red Sox, you see me and Spike laughing it up. That's when Spike used to fly a commercial up to Boston, and I had one time I had the greatest first class trip of all time in the baseball playoffs when I sat next to George Carlin. That's a story for another day. But we had a great time.
Have you been getting any of this NCAA baseball tournament in your system? And if so, what kind of elements are jumping out at you? I had to show Dibs some Georgia Bulldogs not buttoning any of their jerseys up all the way to the top.
Nice swagger.
I loved it. Loved it. What are some things that are jumping out at you, KK?
I am so happy Vanderbilt lost. I mean, I am so tired of Tim Corbin and being the god of college baseball. And I talk to scouts about this all the time. They were happy too, because they just so tired of that act, And we don't have to listen to the Whistler and that kind of stuff. So good for Wright State. Every game is great. People talk about the greatest time of year, and obviously we don't have the NFL, so it's not in there. But what a week, couple of weeks we got going here. I mean, this is unbelievable. And, of course, we had the incident with the umpire. I don't know if you want to explain that one, but that was with the kid getting thrown out. But that's
let's talk about the celebrations, though. I mean, listen, these kids, the major leaguers started this. Even the Red Sox have that stupid mascot head that they,
Oh my God! How dirty is that head? You putting that?
Exactly. I'm not putting your dirty helmet on my head. That would never happen in my day. Yeah, not that was cooties, but I'm not putting your damn helmet on my head. Anyway, getting back to that though, the fact that you're that anal that you're noticing a kid walk out with the stupid thing in his hand, then you eject him, knowing that he can't play in the super regional, which is why these kids go to college. It's not they're not 1% of them are going to the major leagues or even a pro ball.
Right.
That's so excessive, but it's the same thing. I mean, they're throwing coaches out, they're throwing managers out. It's like, and even I'm listening to the announcers, which a lot of them are SEC guys or Big 10, Big 12 guys, and they're like, oh my God, nobody's here to see the umpires. I say that all the time at the major league level. So that's the one. Let these people play. Let them celebrate. I tell kids at the lower levels, even my daughter, she was in a championship lacrosse game in the 8th grade and got smoked. And I was like, listen, at the end of the game, I told my daughter, I said, if you want to shut them up, beat them. Don't sit there and complain that they're talking smack. Beat their butts. Then you could talk all the crap you want.
Well, first of all, they're umpires, and those things happen. I mean, we know we've all run into that. Does that? Now I'm gonna go here though with this. I'm so tired of the celebrations, and I don't know if you saw the Will Clark video. You got to see that one. Will is great. It drives me absolutely insane. The major leaguers, because I'm watching it. Yeah, the thrill just goes off on it, and we're in the same boat. Throwing eye on those. He's just doing their wah-wahs and this and that and blah blah blah. And meanwhile, the ball's still in play.
I know.
Still in play. Drives me absolutely nuts. And then the worst thing is just what you just said there. Now the kids are seeing that, and they're doing all. I can't tell you how many amateur games I've been to where some kid is doing his dance, and the ball is rolling around, and I'm screaming, "Go third!" And the parents look at me like I'm nuts. So my point on all this, it's gotten too much.
Right.
It's gotten too much. Why do we got to have a helmet? I'm telling you right now, I understand that rule. You can't bring that props on the field. I'm telling you right now, Dibs, if that rule wasn't there, you'd have some of these clowns hitting a home run and going around the bases on a hobby horse, like they're
listen, did you see Clemson?
You're onto something.
Did you see Clemson? I think the Savannah Bananas, and I'm not anti them at all. I think they're like the Harlem Globetrotters. Right. They're entertainment. Right. They're fine. Most of those guys will admit they couldn't play pro baseball, so they had to play for the Bananas. But Clemson dancing and doing all this. Now we've jumped the shark. Now you're disrespecting. You're not just disrespecting baseball. I could handle that. You're so disrespectful to the other team that there will come a time when a team's going to start retaliating and it's going to cause brawls and other stuff, and then people are going to be, oh, did you see the fight? And what precipitated the fight? The stupid celebrations, the excessiveness of it.
That kid against. Was it Sanford last week? You saw that one too, where
Ben was showing me the kid from Georgia, slow tipping it right in their face. Dude, I'm telling you what, the kids I coached, they would have ran after that kid. So they're not all from like rich neighborhoods. So it's like my boys don't play that.
I'm putting that on the coach, though. I'm putting that on the Duke coach.
I agree.
You got to make those kids understand. Wait, we can do all our partying there, but this is the rule. Pay attention to the rule and kick their butts on the field. Let's do that. And I watched his post game, and I only wish I was back at a post game like that, because I'd be asking some questions like, do you ever go over that? And again, people get on Bill Belichick. Belichick covered everything. All those things would be covered in the week. Good coaches cover those things. Hey, by the way, if we hit a home run, that puts us ahead. Make sure we keep the props inside.
Yeah,
and then it's on the kids. If the kids fail, that's on them. But that's a failure on the coach. And again, Duke. How about the absurdity of Duke being a hard hat school?
Blue collar school. My wife, when she saw that, she almost spit at the TV. She went to UConn.
Good for her.
Duke. Blue collar school. Get over yourselves.
That was my first reaction too. I was ready to jump through the TV.
Yours blue collars. I'm white collar.
Other than blue collar.
Right.
Now we know all athletes have to be blue collar to succeed, but don't play that game. And between that and meanwhile, the sport I want to mention before we run out of time, I am totally hooked into the Women's College World Series.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter played college softball. I love it. It's the greatest event. They had their regionals and stuff like that. They were great last week. You actually see more baseball in softball. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. No, 100%. You have to play fundamentally sound to play that speed.
That's an unbelievable sport. And I go all the way back to Tony Gwynn hitting off Jenny Finch. They had the same
Nobody
agent.
could hit off her.
And no, nobody. And Tony would tell me. Tony did not want to hit off of two people, Jenny Finch and Omar Dahl, if you remember Omar Dahl from the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, that drove him nuts. And that gets back to my next. I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead here, but the Ryan Yarbrough was a master class in how to pitch. And if the Yankees knew what they were doing, they would have started Yarbrough in Game 1, so the Dodgers would have been screwed up in Game 2 too, as well.
Yep.
So there's so much going on this week between College World Series, Women College World Series. It's a great thing, and I'm all for it. Those girls play so hard. Big extra. And I don't know if you saw the play. The UCLA woman hit a home run to tie the game, but she missed home plate. Talk about umpires. I wouldn't want to be an umpire now. There's too much garbage going on. All the kids are running around, jumping around the plate. She completely missed home plate, but because it wasn't called, and some teammate had to lean her back later, and it wasn't reviewable. But even that's a little chintzy when you're calling that out after the girl just hit a home run. So. I've been excited all weekend. I've been watching.
All right, some real bad baseball to leave you with. Kevin Kernan, ball9.com. Go read the stuff, man.
He's got a great article on Yarbrough up there, right?
Great stuff on that website, even beyond KK stuff. Colorado Rockies.
Oh, my God.
They did it. They are the worst so far in modern baseball history. Man, what can they do? Because they're our Yard Goats affiliate. We're their AA affiliate here in Hartford.
We had Schaefer manage here.
Right. We love Schaefer. Ezekiel Tovar's for real. Yeah. Ryan McMahon's one of our buds. Like, they've got good people. I just don't know how they're not winning ball games, and I bet you're going to say pitching.
Well, I'm going to say more than pitching. First of all, the stat of the week, and one of my broadcasting friends sent this to me. Scotty Scheffler has won 3 tournaments since May 4th. The Rockies have won 3 games since May 4th.
Oh,
so
my God.
That puts it all in perspective. How about that? You never. So let's start there. They're so inept from a management ownership standpoint, and it's not that they. Now, Bill Schmidt is the GM, but he doesn't have a great personality. He doesn't go reach out to other teams. They are so. It's so funny. They're kind of like isolationists where they're located, and they draw the fans because they got all those states to draw from. But also, as a result, that is the classic case. And I've talked to scouting directors about this. This is not just me talking. I was just talking to one yesterday about it. As a matter of fact, not even knowing I BS that question, but they consistently overrate their own prospects to such a level that their ownership buys in and thinks that they got the next wave coming. They never tear it down as a result, so they never fix it. Right. So they can't judge their own team. And I know people who are on the field now. These are people on the field now too. They've been in there now. There's been some changes made. They have told people I know, and these are good baseball people. They said that it's even as bad as the record, it's 10 times worse with them on the field. They've actually been doing baseball tutorials on the field before games to try to teach these players the nuances of the game because they have none. So that's how bad it is for the Rockies. It always starts at the top. And the other irony here, and I'm not bashing Manfred because at least he relates to the owners. One of his closest owners is Montfort, so that's one of his guys. So there's no way to fix this because they need a complete. I think it's little. I remember Goose Gossage telling me this years ago. Goose was talking to them, and we were talking about pitching because pitching is a major problem. But he said one of the points he made to some Rockies people when he ran into them was, "Hey, why is your infield grass like a pool table? You know, the pitchers have no chance with the air, and now this. So grow your infield grass up. A lot of Cubs years ago, or the team
Dodgers. Dodgers always had
Dodgers, exactly.
Yeah.
They have no sense, and it's been that way for decades. And they do have good talent coming through. They brought that that World Series. And Buddy Black, I love Buddy. Yeah. We all know Buddy so well, but I think Buddy was so. But Buddy basically didn't teach over the last 3 years, and I think that's the new. I told you years ago, stolen base is the new thing. But to me now, the new thing is teaching every day at the major league level, and the Rockies didn't do that. So they were so messed up from A to Z. If I'm the Rockies, I trade everybody and make deals and start over from the scratch. And the other thing, and I remember talking to hitters about this. It's hard to hit when you're hitting there, and then you go to normal air, and the ball breaks differently. As a hitter, it's hard. So not only is it hard for the pitchers, it's hard for the hitters. So you have to get. In my mind, if I'm doing this, you either get the Blake Street Bully type guys, hit those home runs, but they were good hitters. You need to get line drive hitters to make the Rockies go. You need to have speedsters in the out. You need to be the old St. Louis Cardinals. That's the only way the Rockies can come back. Only way.
And you know who's happy right now is the White Sox.
So far, for now.
For now. The White Sox are happy right now. Anyway, KK, you are the best. All right, one final one before you go. Who do you got, Pacers or the Thunder?
I'm going to go. It's probably going to make me look bad, and I'm going with Pacers. And it's always that way when you focus on one. But I think the Pacers, if Siakam can do his thing, and I love Rick Carlisle. I go all the way back with Rick. Rick is a player. Rick's a great coach. And also, best GM in sports is probably the OKC guy. I mean, that trade he made to get that superstar. So I'm just to make it interesting, I'm going to go Pacers.
There you go. KK, you are the best.
I'm with you, bud. I'm with you.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, KK.
See you guys. Take care.
See you. Kevin Kernan, everybody.